What's up, gangsters? This is the Goddess of Fire back for another fire conversation. Hot topic today is the chakras. I wanted to do a pick a vibe in honor of the chakras to see what's kind of moving and shaking inside of us. And my big reasoning for that is due to the rare four planet alignment with the moon that we are kind of smack dab in the middle of right now. And the four planets that that's consisting of is Jupiter, Venus, Mars, and Saturn. Um, this energy started, this alignment started around like the 22nd, 23rd, depending on where you are. And we'll be feeling it until like the end of the month. And then, from this energy, we're going to be moving straight into the energy of Pluto going into retrograde on the 29th. And then on the 30th, we actually have eclipse season kicking off with the new moon in Taurus, solar eclipse. So we got a lot of energy moving and shaking right now. Couple things that came to mind that I think everybody should, like, couple phrases pretty much is what came to mind. It's in reference to all this energy that's kind of swirling and twirling around. And that's one, accelerated ascension. So you're probably going to be feeling a shit ton of things going through the body right now. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth when you pick which vibe you need for your chakras. And then two, cosmic reset. So we're getting a real fresh start. Especially with the eclipse season kicking off. I mean, it's really that new moon solar eclipse is really just a portal to a new chapter. So think about that. And then spiritual rapture. We're going through a spiritual rapture right now. Things are changing, things are moving, things are shaking. So if you're feeling weird out of yourself, it's because we are literally moving into a new dimension. So that's another thing. Things are definitely going to be falling away at this point. And it's going to be difficult. It's always difficult when we have to let go of things, but nobody really wants to have those conversations. So, a couple things before we bust down and get to the nitty-gritty of the cards. All my readings are general, so it's going to be one size fits most, not one size fits all, okay? In certain cases, it's going to be one size fits one size fits some. But again, it cannot and will not be one size fits all. So think of my readings like a dressing room. Take what fits and leave the rest behind because it's not for you. Secondly, I swear in all of my readings, so if that's not something you're down for, please feel free to exit stage left. There are plenty of other tarot creators that do not use as colorful a language as I do. No love lost. I sincerely hope that you find the messages and the guidance that you're out here seeking. So, take a look at what lays before you. Give yourself a moment, maybe hit pause really quick, and see which one kind of calls out to you first. You always want to go with your first instinct. Sometimes you might need more than one. All of them sometimes will happen. So this is going to be pile 1, this is going to be pile 2, and this is going to be pile 3. Again, I'm going to give you just a second here. Take a gander, pause, whatever, talks amongst yourselves if you've got a friend beside you. But without further ado, we are going to get started with pile 1. All right, for those of you that pick pile 1, you are going through a bit of a sacral chakra awakening, and that is going to be the chakra that is in your reproductive area. So if you've been experiencing a lot of lower back pain that's kind of unexplained, that could be a big piece of that puzzle to you. The weirdest thing that just popped into my head for you guys that are having issues with the sacral chakra, I literally just heard drink orange juice. I don't know. It's orange. It's helpful. Weird. But a couple ways that you can kind of soothe that chakra if you're feeling a lot of movement and things like that, and you want to kind of get it to a smoother twirl. I don't know what I'm even saying right now. A couple things that you can do is dance Dancing is going to be really, really helpful to soothing that specific chakra. Anything that's going to be tapping into your creative juices is going to get you going. It's going to help relieve that and alleviate that. So get creative right now. Also getting close to, and again, what I was just saying this in my last reading for the full moon, is that we need to get truly embrace our feminine energy to truly balance out our overwhelming masculine energy that we have in the collective. So again, you people are helping to anchor in some of this new energy because you're pulling through, you're grounding and pulling through with your feminine energy through that sacral chakra. So you guys are being super important right now. Okay, so we've got a couple of oracle cards laid out. The top row is going to be kind of where you're currently at, your present feelings, what you're going through mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. And then the bottom row is going to be kind of what you're moving into and what you can expect going forward. So let's just take a gander. That's so perfect with the fertility there. So physically, you're in a very fertile time. This could be literally or figuratively. So literally, if you are trying to make a baby, if you want a baby, or if you are not interested in having a baby, please pay attention to your activities and how you are performing them. Because you could make another human pretty quickly. But that's the literal sense. In the figurative sense, you are in a very creative, fresh standpoint right now. You've got a lot of creative juices flowing. You may not know where to particularly put that energy. I'm getting a very like ADHD kind of vibe. So in this instance, follow the dopamine. Whatever feels good, looks good, makes you happy, follow that, do that. And just no judgment to yourself, or not pulling in anybody else's like opinions on what it is that's making you hyped up right now. And then with the emotions, luck is on your side. It feels like you're in a very happy state of mind with this new moon in Sagittarius. And this feels like, because it is a new moon, it feels like you're newly into this kind of more jubilant, jovial, happy-go-lucky type of phase, which is really, really awesome. I like that for you. I like that for myself personally. I'm a Sagittarius. So anybody that can feel like me how I feel most of the time, I want that for you, because I'm constantly and consistently just happy. So yeah, I really dig this for you. And then with the spiritual side, you're letting go. And this feels like you're letting go of, the imagery here has her holding leashes of dogs, right? And when we think of dogs, one of these dogs, she already let go of the leash. He's floating off into space. Wishbone's gone. But for me, dogs are very familiar. They're supposedly like man's best friend, right? They're going to be your ride or dies. They're going to be by your side. There's a sense of loyalty here. So this feels like you're letting go of things that you've been loyal to for a really long time. Whether that's been a good thing for you or a bad thing for you is subject to any person's experience. But you're letting go of things that are familiar, things that you've held on to for quite some time. And now, again, you're going into a new fertile, it's new beginnings. There's just a lot of freshness for you. You feel very clean slated right now. And once you let go of these last couple of things that are kind of holding you back, and pulling you into a different direction, you're going to be a lot more solid. So I just want to go straight into what you're moving into as far as your physical blessings. I love that. Blessings are coming into your physical and mental. I feel like it's actually just a realization that you're more blessed than you even give yourself credit for. And then with this new moon in Aries, it's time to take action. And what this feels like, it's like, yeah, you've been in a good mood, but it's time to take action on some of the things that may not make you feel good. And it feels like I'm being counterproductive because I'm like, oh yeah, you're just coming into this like really happy-go-lucky spirited time. Go face your shadow. But it's the time for it. It's just, it's the time for it. It's time to take actions with things that are pulling at you emotionally. I feel like this has a lot to do with some of the things that you need to be letting go. So it might just take you a little bit longer than I think you want to get rid of some of these things. And honestly, it's up to you how quickly or slowly you let go of something. And then spiritually, you're taking steps. This feels like you're taking steps to actually enact your spirituality, whatever that looks like. Maybe you're actually, you know, practicing some new things, like you're starting to meditate. You're practicing new things, or you're getting back into previous habits that you've kind of removed yourself from or have not been as diligent with. So I want to see, I'm nosy, I want to know what's going on with these blessings. What blessings can our first group expect? That's rude. So, financial balance, physical balance. Pentacles are all about 3D, what's physically moving into your experience. And the blessing is you're no longer going to be a part of unnecessary conflicts. That is a fucking blessing. So let's see what you need to take action on. You need to take action in your planning, what you want. Take action in some healing too. Healing and moving back into some sense of independence. So if you've been, I'm getting mom energy. So if you've been very much in your mom mode, you need to get back to me mode. Your identity is not a mother. You were somebody before you were a parent. That's what I'm hearing for a lot of you guys. So again, there's so much yellow that's coming through here too, going back to that energy. Yellow and orange. I feel like you might also be having a bit of a solar plexus awakening as well. Solar plexus is yellow. This has to do a lot with how you feel about yourself, self-worth. So spiritually, what steps do you need to be taking? Letting go of any confusion. You know who you are. You know what you want. But this also feels like once you've, okay, this is interesting. Okay, so this is taking steps. I told you to follow the dopamine with this first row here. And that's what the Seven of Cups is. It's all about choices and things like that. Taking steps to picking something that fits you, that works for you. If it's a hobby, a new job, whatever it is, that's going to keep your creativity at the forefront for you. That's super duper important for you sacral folks. Yeah, because you don't have to monetize everything that that you like to do. That's a lie you tell yourself. You don't have to monetize everything, but if you want to, that is definitely an option. So, I'm really digging this for you folks. I hope this was helpful. And now we're going to be moving on to group 2. All right, for our group 2 folks, you are going through a bit of a crown chakra awakening. So I know for me personally, I've been experiencing this a lot. Mind racing, feeling very disoriented. You may have literally like moved into like this weird klutzy stage. But it's just because you're getting to getting used to a new form of communication with your guides. I just had the Page of Pentacles come out, and that's really about a physical communication, and it feels like to me, more so, it feels like it's a physical reaction to a spiritual communication. I digress. All right, let's just take a look and see where we're at as far as your current state with what you're experiencing physically, mentally, emotionally, and then spiritually. So physically, it feels like there's a connection being made. Like you're coming back to yourself is what that feels like. To me, this really looks like too, that you are melding together all the different sides and pieces of yourself. So this is like you're marrying together your masculine and feminine energy. You're marrying together your ego and your spirit. You're marrying together, your dark side and your light side, which is really, really important. So you're just finding that personal balance within yourself right now. And it's good. And you're taking your time with it too, which I think is really, really important to mention. Taking your time, not trying to rush through it, not trying to be on anyone else's timeline but your own. And then as far as emotions goes, it says prosperity lies ahead, which I think is interesting because that is the new moon in Taurus. So for you, I really feel like this new moon in Taurus is a catalyst for emotional well-being for you. I said before, it's a portal to a new chapter. And I feel like this is a portal to a new chapter for you emotionally. Like you are going to be that much more in control of your emotions and understanding that emotions are literally energy in motion. I'm going to say that again. Emotions are energy in motion. And if we're holding on to me, it feels like with the Taurus energy, it feels like there's been some stubbornness to express certain emotions. But I feel like you've gotten to a point where you're just like, you know what? I know this is something that I have to go through, that I have to feel in order to get to the other side. So that mindset, as far as your emotions goes, is super on point. So keep with that. And then this one came out in reverse. So spiritually, you're moving away from lack consciousness, which is basically you're no longer feeling that there's not enough for you. You're starting to really see and understand that there is more than enough to go around, that there is a seat at the table for everybody. Okay? Whew. I'm really feeling this. You're getting lots of downloads because I feel like I'm really, especially with the crown chakra, I'm feeling really like I'm getting lots of downloads. Like my brain feels a little bit fuzzy right now. So that also might be something that you guys are experiencing. This is super weird. I've never heard this before, but what I'm hearing is a lot of you might need to do some like micro dosing of shrooms, or if you're not super duper comfortable with that, maybe start with something like an edible, something that's going to really relax the body and the mind so that you can receive more messages. So just bear that in mind. So let's see where you're going physically. Physically, in your physical world, you're going to start exploring some serious talents. What talents are you going to be exploring? This feels like hidden talents too. Like there's something that you do or have done for years that you've kept hidden, that you've kept protected because you didn't want to be judged unfairly for it. Which is crazy because for whatever reason this feels like, it's something that you only experience within yourself. But now is the time that it's going to come to the surface and come to the forefront to be shown, to be displayed. This is also something that you're going to get a lot of praise for. It's beautiful. And then with the emotions, bring love into the situation, which is interesting because, like I said, I feel like you're at a new phase emotionally. And I feel like you're definitely moving into a place of understanding that love is always the answer. Love is that level of consciousness consciousness that you need to achieve any type of manifestation. This feels very much, which is interesting too. It's you're going into a place where you are stubborn with emotions, but you're going to be very much in control of your emotions, because Aquarius is a water bearer, oftentimes thought of as unemotional. Yeah, you're no longer working against your emotions. You're learning to work with them. With that Page of Wands. Yeah, learning to work with them and learning to appreciate them. And then spiritually, you're moving into a mode of peace, which makes a lot of sense with the crown chakra. I do feel like there's an emphasis right now of you doing some astral traveling. Yep, seeking truth. That's what you're out there doing. Yep, seeing things from a new perspective too. This is why I feel like that microdosing of shrooms came through. That's the weirdest shit, because I feel like there's a height that you need to reach spiritually before you can get a specific message. Yep, and they're not going to give me anything more on that. Okay, so I hope this was super duper helpful for you guys. Also, berries. Eat berries. All right, moving on to group 3. All right, group 3, you are having a third eye awakening right now. So if you've been getting a lot of headaches, a little pressure behind the eyes, having trouble sleeping, I'm seeing too that a lot of you might be seeing like flashes of light or glittery type things out of the corner of your eye. That's all your third eye popping through. Yeah, so let's see where you're at currently, physically and mentally. Yep, you're experiencing a new spirit guide, or experiencing your spirit guides for the first time, which could be really, really overwhelming. Yep, with the emotions running high, definitely. There's just a lot that's going on. You might feel a little bit overwhelmed right now, because there's just a lot going on. You may be having probably so crazy ass dreams that you are like desperately trying to figure out what the fuck they mean. Don't stress yourself out over your dreams. Sometimes you don't know what they mean right away. Sometimes it'll come to you a week, month, whatever later. What I would encourage you to do is keep a dream journal so that you can write down as soon as you wake up any pieces of things that you remember outright. Like if you saw a red door, or if you were in a hotel, or if you saw spiders. Write those types of things down. Definitely notice if there's patterns. And there's websites and things that you can look up, like dreammoods.com. I love that. They have a lot of good breakdowns of what certain things mean in your dreams. So that'll be super helpful. Emotions are running high. Definitely spend as much time doing any grounding work as you can. When we have awakenings in the top trine of our 7 main chakras, it can be very just like, it almost feels like you're intoxicated, like you're a little drunk toddler walking around and you're just running into things. I was saying that before with the group 2 that has the crown chakra. There's a lot of disorientation that can happen, and that can also happen with the third eye chakra. So just bearing that in mind. Do a lot of grounding work. Get outside barefoot if you can. Be in water or near water if you can. That's going to also help to wash away anything too. Behind a mask. So spiritually you have been behind a mask, and now that mask is falling away because your third eye is open and you're no longer going to be able to pretend that you're not special. You're no longer going to be able to pretend that you're not special, because you are, and you've got a lot going for you. So let's see where we're moving. Physically and mentally. Physically, we're moving, and mentally, we're moving into a state of well-being, a state of confidence. So what's giving us this state of well-being? Oh, shit. Hold on. We're only going to take this one. So, for whatever reason, you've let go